part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
And welcome to another edition of the Ray Guy and Rhoda podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network. And it's brought to you by our good buddies at Northfield Park, MGM Northfield Park. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing, free admission and free parking every day at Northfield Park. And a shout out to our producer extraordinaire, Dave Emmert, especially during this podcast, Ray Guy, because we got to tell everybody as we're taping this what the hell went on here. We set up for an 8 p.m. taping on Thursday night to talk Cavaliers basketball, and we're starting taping this at 8:46 because I'm an old fart and totally forgot what the heck. Hi, Rhoda, get your head out of your ass. You're supposed to be taping podcast. What the hell's wrong with you?
Thank you, Harry.
Totally forgot. Sitting on the couch I was watching Ted Lasso. That's what I was
Ted
doing.
Lasso.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was watching Ted Lasso, and like a goldfish, I forgot in 10 seconds, you know, the Ted Lassoism and everything. Like, hi, Rhoda, put the damn goldfish back. What's wrong with you? So totally forgot that we were taping tonight. So my apologies to our producer, Dave Emmert. Thank you for putting up with an old fart like myself.
Both of us, because I've done it already during the course of our R&R podcast. So listen, you're just joining the club now, Roadman. So we're okay. Dave knows Dave knows that we're kind of sometimes on the decline between the years. He's already figured that out between the both of us. Yeah.
Why do you think
he makes up for it with us?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Brittany's
Smart
laughing
man
at me in the background because I forgot this, and I felt like Harry Caray. Holy cow. You know, and it's just like, what the hell's going on, Rhoda? Talk some Cavs basketball. So that's what we're going to do now that we are finally started with this edition of the R&R podcast. Again, brought to you by Northfield Park. Go watch the guys ride the horses. Hi. The trotters, Harry. They're the trotters. I don't care. Just go to the track and have some fun. That's what it's all about. So that's what we're going to do here in this podcast. We're going to have some fun talking about the Cavaliers, who are fun to watch this year, Michael. We're 12 games in. We're a dozen games into this NBA season, and they're 7-5, and there's a reason to watch this team now with Jared Allen, the $100 million man, and Evan Mobley. My gosh, did they hit the jackpot with this rookie pick at number 3?
They're way more fun to watch, Kenny, way more compelling than I ever thought they would be. My God, I was expecting this was going to be yet another gloom and doom situation for the Cavaliers, and wondering about the general manager, and wondering about the head coach, and wondering about the playing personnel, and wondering about everything that is Cavaliers basketball.
Right.
Now, we'll pump it a little bit here. It's 12 games in. Okay, there's still 70 more to go. Are they going to stay above 500? No, not sure.
Probably
possibly.
not. Yeah, but probably not, right?
I would say probably not. However, that does not diminish, the positivity they've created, right? You just mentioned it. I mean, they got some young fellas on this squad that are legit, and guys and mixed in with you can't do anything but smile, Kenny, about what Ricky Rubio has brought to this ball club. I mean, and now you got Colin Sexton hurt and down for a while, right?
Yep.
And then, like on Wednesday night, we saw Darius Garland taking a couple of last shots to try to keep this Cavaliers squad afloat with a win. Wasn't able to hit him and knock it down. I want Darius Garland to be more of, it's fine. I really like the young man, but I'd rather he'd be the facilitator in that situation rather than the one that takes it. However, that being said, fun to watch. Kudos to everybody through the first 3 weeks of the season and 12 basketball games. A lot more to go. Going to have to build, going to have to get better. It's not going to get easier because now you're going to have people they're going to start paying attention to the Cavaliers when they get those scouting reports. The fellas are going to actually, maybe I'll look at this for a minute, from the opposition place. So, but yeah, it's a terrific beginning, and hopefully that it could continue at least to the capacity it's already at. How's that? And then continue to stay this way through the bulk of the season. I don't see how anybody can do anything but give them a whole hell of a lot of kudos for it.
I am not a Kobe Altman fan, okay? And
I know, neither am I. We're together on that.
Right.
Yep.
Publicly noted, stated on the radio, on this podcast, wherever. But, let me just say this, though. This is, my Evan Mobley fell into their lap. So Kobe had nothing but to do, taking Evan Mobley. Now, the other picks we're going to see.
The way the draft played out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. At 3?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not saying this now. To me, I would have taken him at 2 if I were,
right.
But they didn't.
Right.
And so there he is. So, yeah. So good job.
Yeah.
Good job there.
He falls into your lap at 3.
Did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what you've got now. You've got a 3, a 5, a 5, and an 8. And what I mean by that 3, 5, 5, 8 is 3rd overall pick Mobley, 5th overall pick Okoro, 5th overall pick Garland, 8th overall pick Colin Sexton, who's got
Correct.
the meniscus tear. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got 4 lottery picks. You should start to turn things around if you've got 4 guys where the lowest guy that was taken was number 8 overall, right? About time.
Absolutely.
That you turn things around. And to your point that, can they maintain this? Last year, they started, I want to say 5-4 last year, something like this.
Yeah,
as well,
around there.
right? And then I think they even got to 8-7. And then that's when, after they beat the Nets back-to-back last year, remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Then it started to go south last year, and they were back in the lottery again. And so I sent that out on Twitter. And, of course, on Twitter, you got the people that support you, and then you got some of the trick bag punks, and then you got some of the haters, right?
All of that, baby.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody all of a sudden jumping on me saying, oh, Roadman, you said 5-4. This is, where they were a year ago, and it went south. Look at where they're at now. And I will say this, Michael, okay, and there's still a long way to go, and I hope it doesn't go south, but there's a different feel about this year's team than there was a year ago, right? When they started 5-4. Jared Allen is a legitimate center, and that was a good trade that they made, okay? And they locked him up, and they didn't really overpay, in my opinion, for him, considering what some of the other players in the NBA are making. Now, did they overpay for Lauri Markkanen? Maybe. But where you didn't overpay for Allen, it balances out a little bit, okay? Did they overpay for Jetty Osman a couple of years? Yeah, I thought so. But now he's not a starter where he was maybe a year or two ago, right? He's now the 8th or 9th man, and that's a good role for him. So things are starting to fall into place, I think, for the Cavaliers. And that's why I think this is going to be different. And the other reason, Michael, and I'll just, from what I've seen, and I know it's a small sample size.
Yeah.
But Evan Mobley, I love Evan Mobley's
sweet, huh?
game.
Yeah.
He's a 5'4". He could even play the 3 possibly, down the road as he develops his offensive game and that outside shot, which is better than I thought it would be even at this point in his career, Michael. So, and it's a short career, 12 games, right? I love Evan Mobley, and I know there were Chris Bosh comparisons, but I'm going to give you the other one that I want to see, and this is setting the bar really high for Evan Mobley. Tim Duncan. You got big fundamentals in Tim Duncan. I'm going to call him skinny fundamentals right now because he needs to put on some weight. But his footwork, Michael, his ability to handle the ball at that size, his shot, look at him at the free throw. He's already a better free throw shooter than Tim Duncan ever was, from the charity stripe. The form is there. So that outside shot, I think, is going to come, and he's already a big-time defender like Duncan was. And I know that may be, a little too high praise after 12 games, but I think he has the potential to be in that vicinity of, forget Chris Bosh. I think more of an upside of a Tim Duncan than a Chris Bosh, in my opinion.
If he gets in the vicinity, as you said, of Tim Duncan, Kenny, well, now we're talking about NBA Mount Rushmore stuff, man.
Yeah.
Now, I don't expect that because that's heavy. And you know what? I'm going to say you won't know that anyway. We won't know that year 4, if that's what he is.
Right.
And I'm going to give him 3 full years through that. And now you start saying, well, you brought out those 2 guys, so I'll just stick with those 2 guys. Is he more Chris Bosh? Does he lean toward that a little bit more, meaning that versatile, athletic, 6'11" guy that can do a little bit of everything, right? Do it pretty well. There were times Bosh got out of that terrible Toronto situation and we saw that this guy can board, he can defend, he likes to. And so he became, Kenny, an all-star, a very good player. Now, it didn't hurt him that he got to spend a few years with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Pat Riley, right? But they were a part of that. All right, man, you got to start picking it up. Okay. So whatever your thoughts are, there's Chris Bosh. Now, Tim Duncan, that's a whole different deal there, man.
I know.
Like I said, Mount Rushmore, baby. That's NBA, that's like NBA hierarchy, man. That's
royalty.
Duncan's
right?
royalty. There you go. One of the best ever. One of the best ever.
Yes.
One of the best big. Some people feel the best big that ever played the game. Just for how, and again, if you're just looking at a guy that offensively put the ball in the hole, well, you wouldn't say that. But see, Duncan, he didn't care about that, Kenny.
Right.
He didn't care about that. That was when I have to get us, help us, win tonight. Sure. But that wasn't his first priority. And that's where real quick, I want to go with Mobley.
Okay.
This kid to me, Kenny, seems like he loves the game. Yeah. He loves to work, man. He loves to put the effort in. I've already talked to, some of the those in the Cavalier organization that have said to me, Reggie, you would be just, this guy is old school to the bone.
Really?
He's more like, Doherty and Nance and Price and those guys of the 80s. When, listen, this is what we do, man. This is what we love. This is our, and I got the impression they're saying this kid isn't about all the glitz and the glamour and all the fantastic. Love
great to
it.
hear.
Man,
yeah.
Yeah, it's great to hear. And so he's a hard worker and he wants to get better. And maybe who knows? Maybe he says, yay, if he hears this podcast, Kenny, maybe he'll say, I'm going to be Tim Duncan. I'm going to be that good. I'm going to be better than Tim Duncan was. Bring it on, young man. Because, you're right. It's only 12 basketball games. But right now, and doing a little intel on him, this young man seems to have all the goods necessary to be a great one. And let's have fun watching it as it materializes.
Think about this, Reg. 7 titles between Chris Bosh and Tim Duncan. Even if he brings 1 title to the city of Cleveland, right? They'll take that because they are dog crap without LeBron James. Well, maybe he helps, I guess, what's the best way? Guide this team to where it was when LeBron was here, and he can do it without LeBron James on the roster. So I hope, he anywhere in between Chris Bosh and Tim Duncan, I'll take from Evan Mobley. And again, it's early. It's 12 games. But, Michael, you and I, this is the game we love. This is the game we've spent a lot of years watching, you up close calling games in the NBA with the Cavaliers, sitting courtside, me going to as many games as I could, watching practice, going all the way. Well, it was just one of them things back in the 80s, Road Man, when you were at our practices watching us run the pick and roll with, me and Mark Price and Craig Elo and whatnot. I seriously
love that. Love it. Keep it coming, man. That's
coming
great.
Out of college, Bob Zink, Bob Price, the 2 PR guys back in the 80s for the Cavaliers, allowed me, while I was still in college and working just for Cablevision, a local cable company, public access, to come watch practice and interview these guys. And these are relationships I still have to this day with Elo and Price and Larry Nance and those guys, So when you're telling me about Mobley having the work ethic and the mindset of that team, one of the greatest teams never to win a championship, in my opinion, then I'm even more excited about him.
Yeah, and Cavalier fans have a great reason to be excited, because if a young man is showing these type of innate understanding, Kenny, that Okay, listen, you really want to be special? You want to be somebody up on that NBA Mount Rushmore one day? Well, it's got to be way more than just your God-given physical skills. We can agree on that, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, name any of them. Pick any of them you want. We'll go with the Cavaliers you mentioned with Price, Nance, Doherty. I mean, how do you think those guys, got to be all sure? But every guy in the NBA can play.
Right.
Got all kinds of skills. But if you add something to it and you want it desperately and you make this, your obsession, Ken.
Yes.
Obsession. And again, all we got is 12 games so far and talking to people around the league. But again, this young man, this Evan Mobley, is very highly thought of already. And for more than just those tremendous basketball skills he possesses.
Right, guy. He's a versatile big. They got three bigs, right, guys. They got Lowry Markinsons. They got Jared Allen's, right, guys. And they got Evan Mobley's.
Reggae, 3 7-footers.
I hear you, Coach Luke. I hear you, baby. Yeah.
He's got to be watching and going, I want to get back to Cleveland and I want to coach that team with the bigs, 3 7-footers like that in the starting lineup.
Coach Luke would love that. You're right. He would. Yeah.
God, yes. All right, let's do this, Michael. Let's get a break in right now, and then we'll come back. I want to touch a little bit, too, on Darius Garland and his improvement since they drafted him and where he's at right now. But also, we want to take a look around the league, Michael. And, again, it's early, but we're getting a taste of what some of these teams look like now after some serious offseason movement with players in trades and free agency.
Sure.
So when we get a break in here right now, we'll come back. And we're going to break down the NBA and a little bit of Darius Garland's game here on the MGM Northfield Park Reg-I and Rhoda podcast. Hey, the Roadman Kenny Rhoda here for Northfield Park. It is your home for live and simulcast racing, and catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday evening. Post time is 6 p.m. They're open early every day for that simulcast action. And Wednesdays in November, it's cookware giveaway. Guest deposit non-winning Northfield Park Mutual tickets starting at 6 p.m. into the gold barrel to be eligible for a drawing to win a piece of cookware each week. Drawings take place on Thursday mornings, and winners have until the following Tuesday to claim their prize. Enter to win November 17th and 24th. And don't forget the weekly Sunday handicap contest featuring Belmont Park. Top prize is $500 each week. Registration begins at 11 a.m. Free admission and free parking every day at Northfield Park.
Hey, I'm Jason.
And I'm Gary, and we love ball cards.
And if you love ball cards too, good news. You just found your new favorite podcast. From breaks to grading.
And from collecting to flipping, join us on the Ball Card Show.
The sports podcast for the sports collector.
For the Dennis Maniloff Show, I'll tap into my 40-plus years of following Cleveland sports and 30-plus years of writing and talking about them, so as to bring you informed opinions and analysis of your favorite players and teams. I also will monitor the national sports scene and, when warranted, step out of the toy department and into the real world. And I'll always be on the lookout for special guests. By all means, join us.
And welcome back to the Reg-I and Rhoda podcast, brought to you by MGM Northfield Park here on the Press Play Podcast Network. And Wednesdays in November at Northfield Park, it's cookware giveaway. Guests can deposit non-winning Northfield Park Mutual tickets starting at 6 p.m. into the gold barrel to be eligible for a drawing to win a piece of cookware each week. Drawings take place on Thursday mornings, and winners have until the following Tuesday to claim their prize. Enter to win in November on the 17th and the 24th. And good luck to everybody out there. And thank you again to Northfield Park for being the title sponsor of the R&R podcast. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. And Michael, before we dive into the rest of the NBA, Darius Garland, his game, Michael, he was mentioned last year, got some votes for most improved player last year, a couple, not a lot, but a couple. And then when ESPN did their GM survey that they do before the season each and every year, he was one of the 5 players listed as a breakout player or a chance to be one of the most improved players in the NBA this year. And again, we're only 12 games in, and Colin Sexton, his running mate in the backcourt, is out with that torn meniscus for how long, we don't know. So it's Rubio and Garland right now. And Michael, I'm seeing the improvement in his shot, even though he missed what was a bad shot, in my opinion, a 27-footer, in the game against the Wizards instead of going to the basket. But he's not the only NBA player that shoots that shot nowadays. They all seem to want to shoot the three to win the game and walk off, into the sunset with it. But he's better outside. He's better handling the ball. He's scoring. He's assisting. He's attempting to play defense. And he's getting mentored by Ricky Rubio, who has mentored quite a few players, in his career throughout the NBA in his various stops. So Darius Garland, to me, if I'm looking at this team for the future, and I say, all right, who are your big three, right? Who are the guys they're going to build this around? I see Garland, I see Mobley, and I see maybe Jared Allen. I'm not sure. I think he's an outstanding center, but can he be that, superstar? I don't know. But I think Garland and Mobley can fall into that superstar category.
Couldn't agree with you more. And Garland's got a chance to be very, very special. And to me, it comes at the position, Kenny, that I would think most NBA experts that have been around the game for a long time say, now that position too, because of all the intricacies it has with it, is the most difficult.
Yep.
For you agree with that? For
Absolutely.
A young man, a young man to come in, because it's supposed to be way more than just about his game individually.
Right.
It's about how do you make your basketball team better, and what do you do with them to make you. And again, look at a guy like Garland comes into a bad situation, a bad team, right? So it's going to take a little bit of time. But again, like we just said about Mobley, Ken, he seems to have, I love the young man's makeup. I love what he's got between his ears. I love how passionate he seems to be about the game. Agree with you. Yeah, Darius, you don't need to throw up that 27-foot thing that you did the other night. Right. Go to the rim, man. Go to the rim. Once you start, you can pull up and take the teardrop. You can pull up and take the 14-foot foul line, Jay. But you can't just stand back there and throw it up like that. Learning experience, right?
Yep, absolutely.
I love this kid, Kenny. I love him because I think I'm of the I don't think he makes that same mistake again. I really don't. I have that much belief in him and what kind of point guard he can be in this league. And I'm was much higher in his starting last year. In year two, it looked to me like, remember we talked about it that this kid looks like he's got a chance to be somebody that you can hitch the wagon to running your basketball team on the floor. And that means a hell of a lot to me, man. A hell of a lot.
Yeah, and I'll say this about Colin Sexton. I'm not a huge Sexton guy, but before he got hurt, Michael, he was adapting to a smaller role, only averaging 16 points per game, eight down from where he was last year, and accepting that this is more of a team game. And we've got now Evan Mobley, who is the third overall pick. We've got a superstar, we think, in the making, and a top 3 lottery pick. So you're going to have to defer to his game eventually. And I think he's realizing that. And if he can accept that role, both financially and on this team, then you know what? They may have something there where they can keep these guys together and see where it goes in the future. Well, Michael, I'd love
we got Coach Wilkens too. What a night
to see, the pick and roll, with Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley. Could you imagine, if those two could run it anywhere near Mark, and Brad did back in the day. This team, could take, it may look like it's, prehistoric, but, pick and roll, still the pick and roll.
Way to roll, Lenny. Way to roll, baby.
Lenny in, because I want to see that, man. You know what? It's not the pick and roll. It's going to be, it's the pick and lob. Mm-hmm. You throw it up there, and Evan's going to go up to the rafters, and throw it home. You better buckle up, Buttercup. Whatever's going on with Brad doing games in that. So, I like the potential. I'm excited I wasn't excited to watch this team last year. In fact, I didn't even have Bally Sports Cleveland because I have YouTube TV.
Yeah,
so I caught maybe 3 games, all season long, and I really didn't miss much because they were 22-50 and a lottery team. But now I've got a buddy of mine who's hooked me up. I'm able to watch it on my phone or my iPad, and I'm looking forward to watching this Cavs basketball team all season long and their development. So a tip of the cap, to JB Bickerstaff, his staff. Even to Kobe Altman, maybe, it's starting to turn in Kobe's favor, and he can say, I told you so to us. I hope he can. Please, I hope you can say that to us and say we were wrong, you were right, and this team's on the right track to becoming a playoff team or at least a play-in contender this year.
Right.
Mike.
And for that, you're going to need your wins in the upper 30s in this 82-game schedule. And Kenny, right now, listen, a lot of that becomes window dressing. Well, if you go 39-43, as you said, you're probably going to get in a play-in. Well, how did you go to? How did you become that? How did you get there? What about your game? So that's what it's more about than just the bottom line wins and losses. But we kind of know, as we said, we know the parameters of where they're going to have to be. If you're talking about getting one of those play-in bursts or even a little bit better than that, well, they're going to be around 500 basketball team. Can they do that? As we said at the start, I'm not going to sit here and say, for sure, mark it down that they can, because there's still things they got to get. They got to certainly become better at certain areas of the game. They got to get better at. I'm kind of liking, Kenny, how they I do like, at least it looks like and I think Evan Mobley's they're committing to the defensive end of the floor.
Yes, they are.
Whether that's going to stay, apparent through 82 games, we don't know. But, and I hate to say that, but you and I know this is a fact. When that first 5-game losing streak comes,
right?
How they gonna react to that, Ken?
Yep.
How are they going to continue to want to play through that, above that, and continue to make ascent, because it's coming.
Oh, it is.
It's coming. It's coming for Brooklyn, Philly, anybody you want. Oh, it'll come at some point this year. Hell, it may come twice. It may be a 7-game bender. You don't know. But then our conversations will really have some, oomph to them when that one comes. We'll see how they react to it.
No doubt. And with a young team, like you said, it's definitely coming. It's just a matter of time. And then how do you respond while you're going through it? And then when you break it and then try and get back on track. Just like they should have beat Washington, right? In the last 30 seconds. Here's what they didn't do in the last 30 seconds. Rubio, an 87% free throw shooter, made 1 of 2. So he misses a free throw. Let's see. They allowed a wide open look for Kuzma. It was about 30 seconds left. And then when they had to play defense again, they didn't get the foul that they had. Supposedly they tried, but they didn't foul Bradley Beal hard enough. And then what does Mobley, the rookie, do? Mobley leaves the hottest shooter on the floor to try and challenge at the rim, and Beal wisely kicked it out to Kuzma, who buried the triple. So there's, those are 3 breakdowns right there, and then a bad shot by Darius Garland. So you hope that those young guys learn from those mistakes in the last 30 seconds of a game. It showed them that you can't play for 47 minutes and 30 seconds. You have to play the full 48 minutes. So like you said, let's hope they don't make those mistakes again, or at least more than twice, maybe, and it registers and they move forward. So we'll see where that goes. Hey, Reg, what about the rest of the league right now? As we're taping this, I'm looking at the standings. Washington, who the Cavs lost to, 8-3, tied for first in the East with the Bulls, and Golden State.
Is that sustainable?
No, I can't see.
Wait. Me either. Okay, next. Go ahead.
No, Golden State 10-1, leading the West.
That's sustainable.
That is sustainable, not at that percentage, but the number one spot. Yes. And that's without Klay Thompson right now. Okay.
That's right.
Wait. I don't know when he's coming back, if it's this year or how he'll be if he does come back. But to me, that to me is sustainable with that team and what they've been able to do if everybody's healthy. So your thoughts on what we're seeing early on and all the movement from this past offseason?
Yeah, I went into the year, Ken, thinking that when you look at the East, where the Cavaliers are, I'm thinking Brooklyn or Philly. Now I went with Philly just to, as you know, just to be a little bit different. But I really, I'm a Doc Rivers guy. I really like Doc, and Joel Embiid to me is a guy you can win with him. Obviously, Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, they're going to have the Miami Heat in the hunt, right? They're going to be there when the shouting comes down, because this is what they do. They're going to win pretty consistently. Kenny, I kind of think right now with pretty much I just looked today at the 8 teams that, I know you're playing game stuff.
Right.
But to me, right now, you got the Wizards, Bulls, Nets, Sixers 4, Heat 5, Cavaliers 6, Knicks 7, Bucks 8.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's your, and I'm hoping the Cavaliers could stay there for sure. Right below them, Raptors, Hornets, Boston, Atlanta. Atlanta's off to a terrible start. So you got to think Atlanta is going to, as a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, right?
Correct. Yep.
So, you got to believe that they're going to pick it up. But, for the most part, I don't know. Is there a real dominant team in the East?
If Kyrie Irving comes back and is able to play, I think Brooklyn is the team to beat with KD, with Harden, and with Kyrie. If
do they
Kyrie
want
does
to?
not,
are they willing
I don't
to
know.
do what's necessary to make everything work and be a team that is of championship timber? I don't know.
They're 8-4 without him, so they're a pretty good team without him. You add, no questioning his ability when he's on the court. So for me, that's the team in the East if they get Kyrie. If not, then Michael, I think it's up for grabs. Even though Milwaukee's the defending champs, you know how hard it is to repeat in the NBA. You've got to be super elite, to repeat. And I don't see, as good as Giannis Antetokounmpo is, MVP. I don't see them as one of those elite teams that's going to put 2 or 3 championship runs together. I just don't see that. Okay.
I'm with you. And then quickly in the West, we mentioned Golden State. Sure, they're going to be there. Kenny, Utah Jazz, excellent franchise, excellent basketball team. They ain't winning no championship.
No, I don't think so.
They ain't winning no championship because they're not. They're too soft. They're not tough enough for that. That's not what they are. But excellent basketball team. So I don't know. Then you get in the middle. What do you think about Denver? What do you think about the LA Clips? What do you think? The Lakers in this geriatric ward, are they going to make a move? They'll win the championship. So
that'd be a good team in 2010. That'd be good in 2010. That's what Chuck told Ernie on NBA.
That was
on
great.
TNT or TNT tonight, whatever the pregame show and postgame show is. Because they're so. Melo's looks like he's got the fountain of youth early in the season. Let's see if that his body.
Right. 3 weeks in.
Yeah. And LeBron's missing games already early on, or maybe he's saving himself for the second half of the season. We'll have to wait and see. But Michael, in the West, Denver, is Murray going to be back at all this year? Do we know?
They're not talking about it a lot. I haven't seen a lot about it. So
obviously, if he's back, that's a whole different animal. With
huge difference, right?
With Joker and Murray there, and Porter's out again with another back ailment, maybe something that is similar to what forced him to miss games in college. So. Right. LA, Kawhi Leonard, is he going to be back at all this year? I don't think so. Or if it is, it's late in the season, if at all, because he got hurt, last year, late in the year.
Right.
So
you got to worry about Kawhi's body too. You just don't know. Denver, our old buddy Michael Malone,
right? Golden State, Denver. The Lakers, Dallas. I love. What they're trying to do in Dallas, but I don't see them as a legitimate NBA contender this year. Do you?
No. No. Championship? No.
So, so maybe the good thing about this season is it's up for grabs in the East and in the West. And that's
it should be fun if you're an NBA fan and that's right. You're a fan that likes, you don't like 4 or 5 teams that all dominate. You're tired of all that. Well, this might be a year that you can rally around then.
Absolutely. And hopefully the Cavaliers, here's what, in closing this edition of the Reg Iron Road, a podcast brought to you by Northfield Park. I want the Cavaliers to at least be that 10th team that's playing in the play-in game to get some postseason experience. That's where my expectations are. Before the season, I probably would have taken in Vegas the under on 28.5, I think it was.
Yeah.
But in order to be a play-in team, you've got to get 36 wins, Michael, you think? Somewhere in that vicinity?
That's a good number. Minimum of 35, and that may not do it. Maybe it might take 36, 37. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. 38 for sure. You get to 40, you got a good shot. I can't see that. But hey, Kevin Love's been out, and not because of injury, because of COVID issues. Same with Markkanen. You'll get Sexton back eventually. So it's going to be fun to watch this team this year. I will be watching games this year. I will be going to games this year. And I'm excited about Evan Mobley and the future of this team, because I think they finally have a player to build around in Evan Mobley and some nice parts to go with it in Garland and Jared Allen. And we'll see what this Markkanen kid can do as they play the terminal towers in the starting lineup, right?
Yeah, it looks like when Isaac Okoro comes back, I'm hearing thoughts we didn't mention, Ken. They're going to see what he does as a 2.
Yeah, he played last night. Did a nice job defensively, Michael, but he couldn't throw it in the ocean if he was standing on the bow of the Titanic. So
it's not what he does. I mean, that's just, I don't think he's a, NBA caliber shooter. Now, can he be that at some point? I suppose, but I don't see it right now. And I'm not sitting around waiting every day for it to suddenly show up either. Well, the best part of his game is defending.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. And
do
at
that
number
then.
5.
Defend then. Yeah.
Yeah. At number 5, that was a little high for me, but that's
high.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, if you hit on 2 out of 4 of the lottery picks and 2 of them are superstars, then the other guys become role players, and we'll see where this goes. But should be a lot of fun, and we'll be talking about it all season long here on the Reg Eye and Rhoda podcast. And you never know when Coach Lenny, Coach Luke, Big Brad, and the fellas are going to stop by. And hopefully Harry won't be stopping by it anytime soon again.
Harry's cool. Don't come down on Harry. He's cool, man.
I forgot some
He's a legend.
Oh, my. All right, Reg, next time we chat, we'll do it after Sunday's game. We'll tape that podcast Sunday night, Browns and Patriots, and we'll see what they can do against Mr. Belichick and company in Boston, and go from there.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of intensity involved with that on Sunday, because you know what Belichick is going to want to do to Baker Mayfield and the Browns offense. So, we'll be here to discuss it all, Ken. Look forward to it, man. Good stuff.
Sounds good. Michael Reg Eye, Kenny Rhoda. It's the Reg Eye and Rhoda podcast. Make sure you check it out wherever you find your podcast at least once a week, mostly twice a week, here on the Press Play Podcast Network.